Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is the 15th of January 2018. Welcome, those of you who are already here. Welcome to you. Welcome to those still to join. Welcome to those who will watch the video after. Welcome to everybody. By the time you come along and around to watching this video, you will get the idea behind the concept of it. Tonight is not a normal live video. We call tonight's video an address to the nation. And it's an important address to the nation. Because we are at a critical juncture in our development as a nation. And while many do not understand the importance of where we are now, I thought I would take this time to touch on some things that, if we're lucky, will make it a little more real to those of you who are not fully grasping what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago. 15 days ago, we all wished each other Happy New Year. 33 of the people who wished that to other people, who came into the new year with us, they're dead now. Victims of murder. Their lives snuffed out and over. And they're not the only ones. There are a lot of people unaccounted for in this nation that could already be dead and we do not know. And while that is a very somber and negative lead-in to this video, it's going to make the point. The point is this: Trinidad and Tobago, the nation state, is broken and failing. We say things in jest. We say it to make a point. But do we take them seriously? When we say nothing works in Trinidad and Tobago, it's not a lie. We top the world. And don't fudge numbers. Don't hedge bets. Don't say, well, we're not the worst in this. They have 3 worse than us. Forget that. The fact that we could be in the top 50, the top 30, the top 20, the top 10, that we could be in the top 5 of any of these things should make us all very concerned. We top the world in murder. We top the world in violence. We are topping the world right now in recruits for Muslim terrorist organizations. We top the world per capita in heart disease and diabetes. We top the world right now as quite possibly the most failing nation in the world per capita. And that's an obscenity and a tragedy, because we're also the 3rd wealthiest nation in the Western world. So how did this come about? How did we end up here? Go back. Go back to the start of Trinidad and Tobago, a rock in the sea, violently fought over for centuries by colonists. Violently fought over. Tobago more so than Trinidad. Tobago, more wars have been fought for Tobago than for Trinidad. Put together by the British in the 19th century, it became the unitary state of Trinidad and Tobago. And the fact that we've been independent 55 years and we've not been able to move that ampersand as yet and create one nation, Trinbago, shows that we have no idea what we're doing. And to make ourselves Trinbagonians would link Tobago to Trinidad forever. But we're not prepared to do that. We do not know why. Nobody could tell you why. You go to Tobago and there is racist fear. And that racist fear was put in those people's minds. It's not a real fear. And then there is the conquest and the hegemony in other races in Trinidad and Tobago that then, ironically, give the Tobagonians something to fear. But how do we become one nation? How do we ever become one people? How is that going to ever be possible? In a country where we don't trust each other. Nobody trusts anybody. The Africans were brought here, kidnapped, beaten, chained, brought here, forced to labor, murdered to feed the colonial empire. When that couldn't continue, East Indians, Chinese, were conned into believing that there was something better here for them. It wasn't. The people who came to Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of the circumstances in the early years, the population that made Trinidad and Tobago, nobody had it easy. Nobody had it nice. But we forged ourselves into something like a nation. But the colonists understood that as long as the blacks and the Indians, the major races, are kept at each other's throats, that a minority could rule them. And that continued through the Spanish and the British, and they exchanged hands, and it continued. In 1962, we changed the color of our flag, and we changed the color of our masters. But we didn't achieve independence. There is nothing about Trinidad and Tobago that is independent. We've spent, and I just want to use this as an example, and I want this to dawn on you, and I'm saying it tonight because it'll be on the media 2 nights from now as it dawns on them, that we've spent enough money in this country to run pipe around the earth twice, but can't get water to houses in Trinidad and Tobago. We've spent billions of dollars on a water company that cannot manage water when it's wet or when it is dry. And that, just that, is an indictment against us and anything that passes for independence in Trinidad and Tobago. But we're not focusing on that. We can't really focus on the fact that 33 family members are dead, that there are people in this country that tragically mourn tonight, that loved ones are dead. It is easy for us to shame and blame. It is easy for us to play nigger and coolie politics. Now Syrian drug lord, Chinese whatever, white whatever, nigger this, coolie that. We are one misguided little group of people that is told, get drunk, bend over and let somebody whine on you, because that's what you're for. And what is obscene about that is, prior to us removing the Union Jack, the grandchildren of Africa and India had stormed the ramparts of world education and had become leaders in their own right, a blink away from slavery and indentureship. What happened between then and now? What happened in the 55 years of self-rule, if that is really something? What happened to Trinidad and Tobago? What brought us to this point? What made us believe that it is okay to laugh at somebody for losing their lives? What made us believe that it is okay to continuously denigrate each other? We've become a circus of a nation. We look for foolishness to give our attention to. This video that wants to touch on the most important issues affecting everybody's lives will never get the kind of numbers that circus acts will get. We do not take ourselves seriously. We do not take our responsibility to our democracy seriously, and we do not take our country seriously. It is us to blame. Now, I sit here speaking to you as the interim political leader of a party we founded a year ago, that next week, that this Saturday, January 20th, we will be celebrating with a rally in Shagona starting at 3 p.m. And we will be touching on many of these issues in greater detail. Future, our potential ministers and members of parliament candidates will be there, and they will be speaking to the issues too. But if we cannot get the people of Trinidad and Tobago to want better, there is no saving Trinidad and Tobago. If we cannot get black people and Indian people, who have been brutalized from slavery to now to understand that nigger and coolie politics is their undoing. That if I say the word nigger and coolie, nigger and coolie, nigger and coolie 50,000 times tonight, it does them nothing wrong. But their outrage is there, not at the people riding their backs, rubbing their heads and telling them everything is going to be all right. Keith Rowley of the PNM came back into power. This is the third, maybe the fourth if you count George Chambers' brief administration, but this is the third real incarnation of the PNM. The People's National Movement has been the worst thing to happen to this country than just about anything else. They've taken advantage of every single opportunity to misuse and abuse. They've allowed colonialists, neo-colonialists, to continue operating with impunity in this country. Nothing works. There is nothing that you can rely on that works. You cannot rely on a simple thing like public utilities. You cannot rely on water in your taps. You cannot rely on public transportation. You cannot rely on calling the police and having honest, decent, law-abiding police show up, if at all. You cannot rely on the courts. You cannot rely on the health sector. You cannot rely on the education that you're putting your children through. You cannot rely on any of those things. You cannot rely on the public service. You go into government offices to be frustrated, only to find out after that there is a back room, a back channel that will cost you some extra money because everything in Trinidad and Tobago is corrupt. Everything. We've created a failed nation where a paradise on earth is supposed to be. And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, need to get this and get this clear. We need to get this and get this clear. It's not stupidity that drives, and it's not stupidity that drives the formation of the Progressive Empowerment Party. It's not lust for office or lust for power. It is a group of people coming together to say, hey, we could fix this. We can save this. Let us save it. Every nation that works today, every nation that survives and thrives and is a first world nation today, at some point in their history, their people had to decide that that is what they wanted. That a few had to get up and say, okay, we are going to change this. We are going to fix this. We are going to rescue this. And it takes that, and this is that time in our history. I want you to understand this very, very carefully and very, very clearly, that we won't get this again. It's not happened for a long time. You've never had a political organization completely disassociated from the parasitic oligarchy, the 1%, the contractocracy, all of the names you want to give to the lodge boys and the backroom boys that gather together and plan your value, your labor and your consumption, and they count you as that. And you are sold into that world. We are telling you that you are much more than that. The truth of the matter is, Trinidad and Tobago is as it is because we allow it. We have given up the responsibility to others, and that has to be undone. Because come Saturday, January the 20th, a message will be sent one way or the other. We will either have a massive turnout that will tell us and all of the existing political parties that the people of Trinidad and Tobago are at a point where they have said enough. We want our nation to work. We want healthcare that delivers. We want education that educates our children. We want a cost of living that we could afford. We want a minimum wage that is a living wage. We want to control our economy and end the drug trade. We want to be able to manage the service offered to us by the banks and the other finance companies. We want to protect each other. We want to make sure that national security is not a joke. We want to undo and redo the craziness that is our justice system. We want to remove the rogue and corrupt police police officers from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, suspend and prosecute them. We want to get to a place where all of those who have taken advantage of the public purse, what is taking place right now, what is going on, what is about to take place in other mega projects that just have one goal at heart, to enrich others at your expense. Your children and their children will be paying these bills for years to come. We will be making billions and billions of dollars, and it will be going down a whole service in debt that others have stolen today. We must make sure that we elect to office a government so disconnected from these people that they will willingly go after them and prosecute them and repatriate the public money. We have had funds and money and value in this country that would make the wealthiest nations in the world blush. It's a damnable shame what we've allowed to happen. And if we do not stop it now, we will run out of time. The Progressive Empowerment Party understands the size of the hole in front of us. This little blip with a rising oil price of $65 is a passing cloud. Oil and energy is not going to be, the days of high oil and energy, they're over. The world is getting cheaper and cheaper energy by the day. And the days of high oil prices are gone. So we in the Progressive Empowerment Party clearly understand that there's not going to be any more booms to come to solve the problem. That it is going to take hard and consistent work. We need to diversify the economy and put all of our people to work, give all of our people hope and opportunity, create a nation state with a vision that 20 years from now, we can stand strong, stand firm, independent of the vagaries of the world economy. We can't do that now. Every sneeze and every cold throws us off. We are now at a place where we are so heavily in debt, it will take us decades to come out of it under a normal operating economy. We don't even have that. We do not even have that at this point. No one knows what exactly is going on in the halls of power. What we get in exchange coming broadcast on the media is violence, arrogance, obscenity. They've made a mockery of the high institutions. Nobody respects the office of Prime Minister and opposition leader and president anymore. We don't respect the office of Chief Justice. We have no respect for the Director of Public Prosecutions. The entire country feels like it is ready to tip over. You cannot, in all good conscience, and this is to the people who pack in to leave. This is to the people who pack in to leave, and I want to tell you something. If you make one good effort, if you give us 3 to 6 months of your best effort, right now, we could fix this country. 3.5% of the population of a nation is all that you need to save it, you know. And that is the truth. The rest are just a vote. But all of us that need to get together, we need to stop operating this country out of fear and anger and start to operate this country out of love. We need to love ourselves. We need to love each other. We need to love our country. We need to undo and redo the insanity and the madness that is Trinidad and Tobago. We have to accept that there are a lot of broken individuals among us that have been broken in their minds, that have been made racist drones, that have been told, you are just a nigger. That's all you are. You are a nigger and you have to support this party or you have nothing to get. Or you are a coolie. And I'm telling you, you know, keep saying those words till they have no power, you know. Because it is not those words that hurting you. It is the intention of those behind you that are telling you other things, that are fooling you and leaving you high and dry. The time has come now for Trinidadians as a whole to realize we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled for 55 years. And while you've been fighting nigger coolie politics, others have been making off with your treasure, with your family's treasure, with what should have kept you and your family well off and living well. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we need to confront and resolve the issues that are dominating the nation's airwaves. We need to change the conversation. We need to talk to government and opposition and tell them all we care about is home ownership, education, healthcare, food production, cost of living. Those things matter. We need to get our country growing food independence. And I have been saying this for decades. Food independence is the only independence that is going to matter very soon in this world. Any nation that cannot feed its people will never be independent. We have more rainfall, and the meteorologists will tell you this. We have more rainfall than we could ever use. We get 4 and 5 times our water consumption every rainy season. We just don't deal with it properly. We have a broken water system. It has not dawned on anyone to try decentralizing water distribution, to make sure that every constituency has access to its water stores. We don't have that. We need to get to there. We need a government that understands what service to the people means. We need a government that understands how to decentralize all of the important offices of state, to reduce the cabinet to 9 ministers, to abolish the RHAs, the THA, the local government, the Senate, the president's office. I have a friend who keeps telling me he wants a president as a watchdog. That's not a president, that's a watchdog. You could create a watchdog office. You could give the Integrity Commission more teeth. You could create a police service, internal affairs. You could actually give the Chief Justice some more responsibility. But that is a conversation for another time. We do not need all of these extra offices that do nothing. Local government takes money to do what central government is already paid and empowered to do. We do not need it. What the Progressive Empowerment Party offers instead, what we propose, is 41 constituency boards of supervisors, made up of 5 persons and a member of parliament. The 5 persons are the supervisor of health, the supervisor of education, the supervisor of security, the supervisor of utilities, and the supervisor of public works. Those 5 offices in your constituency will take care of all of the critical things that affect your daily life and free you up to maximize your potential and give you and your children hope and opportunity. That is where we want to go. We have a legislative agenda that includes campaign finance reform, procurement, real procurement regulations, not laws on top of laws. We are talking about shutting down the special purpose companies, replacing all of them, and the National Insurance Board is to be repurposed to National Insurance and Health only. We propose a tenders board, a far more robust and transparent tenders board, accountable to the nation, a National Gazette published online. Every contract, every public contract above $100,000 TT dollars will be published in that gazette. No more fake ABC Company Limited. All directors and all shareholders must be published as well. We propose that all public works contracts to do work in any constituency must go to companies and contractors within those constituencies. We propose that the workers must come from those constituencies themselves. We propose solutions to never-ending problems. We flood every rainy season because not one government has taken it upon themselves to address the issues of managing the rainfall. We will manage the rainfall. Using dams and retention ponds, we will make sure to save at least 50% of the rainfall we get in the rainy season so that it can be reused all through the year and prevent the perennial water gone cry. We propose 41 separate water purification and processing plants in each constituency to guarantee you clear pure water in your taps. We propose to put a 25-cent tax on every plastic bottle brought into this country or manufactured here, and that 25-cent tax is to be paid as a redemption to anyone who picks it up as trash and brings it back for recycling, because we have a plan for the plastics as well. All of these things and more we talk to you about. Others come to us and say, what is to prevent you from becoming like all of the others who've gotten into office before? To be honest, nothing. There is nothing in Trinidad and Tobago's law that protects you or me from governments that steal right now. But if you had recall legislation, you could fire them. You could call them before the very electorate that put them in office and remove them from public office. You don't have that now. And the Progressive Empowerment Party calls on the nation to do one more thing after voting us into office. Come out in your tens of thousands outside of the nation's parliament on the first day of a Progressive Empowerment Party government, because we will go into that parliament and not come out until recall recall is written into law. Because if you cannot fire these people, they could do you what they want. We've had elected dictators for 55 years. That has to change. You need to be able to remove from public office anybody who is not doing the job that they were hired to do. A simple law like that. We want to put a cap on campaign finance, $100,000 per constituency per election. Use that money to address the people and talk issues. No more stunts and drowning the nation in ceaseless, insipid ads. People need to hear what is your position on the important issues that affect their lives. We've had elections reduced to circus. The last election in this country in 2015 was a joke. It became all about personalities and slack talk and slander and stunts. And nobody in the public understood who they were electing and why they were electing them. We time now politics leaves half the population behind every time. And you cannot run a country if you cannot run a home. And you cannot run a home by saying half the food is for half, all the food is for half the family, the other half have to starve. You can't run a home like that, so why would you try to run a country like that? The truth of the matter is, we've been beaten into submission, and we need now to stand up and say stop it. We could no longer allow ourselves to be isolated and set apart. All of the divisive politics that separate us by race and class, end that now. Stand together, one people under one flag. We own one thing, this country, Trinidad and Tobago. We are heirs to the third wealthiest nation in the Western world. We are the inheritors of the wealthiest country in Latin, Caribbean, and South America. That's who we are. But we don't behave like that. We don't behave like heirs and inheritors. We behave like yard boys and maids. And we need to fix that. We need to understand our role and our responsibility in democracy. And that is to hire these people in public office and then hold them to responsibility and accountability. And if they do not deliver what they were hired to do, our job is to fire them. And that is what the Progressive Empowerment Party wants you to understand. If we give you one bit of information that educates and empowers you, it is this. The people of Trinidad and Tobago own this country. The Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is the supreme law. It speaks our justice system and our government into being. Without it, we have nothing. To it we return. Undo and redo starts us over from the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We go back to it because it respects and recognizes the people before President, Prime Minister, and Pope. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, need to understand how important we are in the entire equation and start to function as if our country mattered. That is what we are trying to do as an organization, as a political organization. We wanted to come out and educate and inform and empower, but we realized that without giving you a political alternative, you would still be stuck for choice. You would still have to choose between two racist and corrupt parties. Other political parties form themselves into parties in name only. They do not touch the ground. They do not go into the constituencies. They do not build out for election. They do not really challenge for elections. You very rarely had a political organization like the Progressive Empowerment Party, who in 1 year is already on the ground with 39 constituency caretakers building out into constituency executives ready to challenge for a national election when one is called. That is what you need, and you need more of that, not less. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to organize ourselves and challenge for our office. We have the madness of a member of parliament missing since September 6th. And not one single caretaker has been appointed to the constituency of La Joqueta Talparo, leaving those people unrepresented in the parliament, the basis for which government exists. So if you have no respect for the parliament, how could your government be respected? If the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago does not understand how important the representative of La Joqueta Talparo is to the constituents of that constituency and to the parliament, he should be fired. And we need to get there. We need to educate the people we put in public office. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to start respecting ourselves and our nation. This address hopes and begs you, please, I want to plead with you, do not miss this opportunity. We could fade. Many of us would prefer to be doing anything else but politics. Many of us would prefer to be doing anything else but public life. This, however, is where the service is now. Our country is on fire. The metaphorical Titanic is dead on for the iceberg. Rome is burning. Trinidad and Tobago needs you like it never needed you before. But it doesn't even know how badly it needs you. You need to know, and you need to step up. You need to understand people are fleeing our nation. Imagine the blessed, best paradise on earth. People are fleeing. How is that sensible? How is that logical? Governmental mismanagement, corruption, and bullshit racist ideology has distracted, divided, and fooled our people. We have been left a broken and beaten nation, and we need to undo and redo that. The people of Trinidad and Tobago own this country, not the Chamber of Commerce, not the lawyers, not the judges, not the politicians, not the political parties. You, the people. You, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you own this country. The Progressive Empowerment Party wants to tell you that we will, on your instruction, put the people first. We will solve the problems and the issues of drug trafficking. We will close the borders. We will secure the nation. We will bring it back to a place where people could be safe and enjoy their lives. That's where we need to go. We listened to a prime minister address the nation a couple of weeks ago and touched on nothing of value that affects your lives. The farmers have no idea what's going on with the farms. Two political parties have given one political financier 200 acres at a time. Another political party gave a loudmouth activist 40 acres of state land to shut his mouth. All of this cannot be how our country is run. We have to say that is a waste of our resources, and we need to undo and redo that. And the Progressive Empowerment Party will break those agreements. We will tear up those contracts. We will reclaim the people's lands and put it back into farming, and I promise you that. Give the Progressive Empowerment Party your support. Stand with us. We will erase the culture of violence and crime stalking this land. We will end the drug trade once and for all. We will work with international partners to clean up all of our public offices and bring it back to a nation that can work. If you want that, if this is what you want for yourself and for your children, I implore you, come out on Saturday, January 20th at 3 p.m. at Lange Park Bandstand in Chaguanas. We begin a conversation there. We begin an election campaign then. We bring to the people of Trinidad and Tobago the opportunity to determine where we go as a people, confronting for the first time the contractocracy and the hidden back deal boys who control these two political organizations, Red and Ready and Yellow and Steady, that have fooled us for all of our existence. And I ask you again, don't take my word for it. Go to the leadership of either of those parties and ask them, how could the police service continue to be this badly run if you are in control of the country? Undo and redo. Internal affairs. A proper cleanup. All of the rogue and corrupt officers suspended, prosecuted. Why has that not been done? Our healthcare system leaves people to die. Literally die. Somebody wrote me an email to tell me that while she was in contact with a family member who was sitting in a wheelchair for 4 days in a hospital corridor, that family member died right there. That is unacceptable in a nation that has spent $50 billion on healthcare in the last 10 years alone. We've allowed the banks to go rogue. Our citizens no longer get interest on their funds. There is no credit available in the economy for the small businessmen to compete with the US flowing questionably to the 1%. Nobody's having that conversation. We get no guidance and no advice from the Minister of Finance, from the central bank, from the financial ombudsman, nothing. Nobody knows what's going on. We hear through the rumor mill that there is an alternative economy. There's an alternate economy that US is smuggled into this country and businesses are being run on that. How in heaven's name could that be in 2017 how we run Trinidad and Tobago? In New York City, they are continuously reducing their murder rate. They're down to 291, their lowest in 35 years. When I brought that into the public space, CNC3 went and copied it and put it on Guardian Media. But I've been the one that's been telling you, watch New York City. Because we could twin ourselves to New York City. We've been on a similar path. And we can follow and take guidance. There's a saying, success leaves clues. And the successes of those 8.5 million people living in New York City, we could copy and utilize right here to the benefit of our people. Someone told me that our plant and stuff, all the containers on the port, is madness. And I had to explain to him that in Singapore, they move more containers in 1 hour than we do in a year. Nothing we are saying is impossible. Do not allow yourselves to be chained in your mind. Do not be imprisoned in your head. Understand, education could work in this country. All of our schools could be prestige schools. All of a sudden, everybody could be going holy name and presentation. We could fix every single school in this country and set them all to a prestige standard. We could decentralize healthcare and put 41, 24-hour, 7-day-a-week accident and emergency centers in every constituency. I watched a video as to how shifts of EMT, emergency trained workers, work. And while one shift is out there, the second shift that is going to relieve them have their own vehicles, and they check in their stocks and their inventories, and they're ready. And they're ready to go out and respond. A Progressive Empowerment Party government will put 2 to 3 ambulances in each and every constituency. You will always be 7 minutes away from a response. We want to deal with nurse practitioners and bring them into the national conversation. Nowhere at all has that ever been discussed in this country. And that's critical to public health sector in the developed world. How do we continue to sit idly by and watch government come and government go and nothing fix and nothing change? And every time somebody puts their own life on hold and puts themselves at risk to stand up to this organized criminal enterprise at the top and at the bottom, sandwiching ordinary, law-abiding, decent people. We have white-collar criminality squashing you from on top and bandit crime killing you from below. How do we continue to sit on our hands and pretend that that is in any way normal or acceptable? Trinidad and Tobago, this is our opportunity here. The Progressive Empowerment Party, after this public rally on the 20th of January, we are going to be calling a press conference a week later to announce the date of our internal elections, where every post will be up for grabs, including political leader. All of our posts will be up for grabs. This is not me or anybody else fighting to get a public job. Trust me, what we're fighting for is to rescue a nation. We need your help. We need your support. We need you on board. We need your vote. We need you to wake up. We need you to take responsibility for your country. We need you to accept that in every democracy, the people have a role to play. And this is that opportunity now. The reality of our situation, we cannot survive another PNM or UNC administration. We're barely going to survive this one as it is. I again appeal to Trinidad and Tobago. I implore you, please, on the 20th of January, forget the threats of victimization. Forget the bandit clans. Forget the family members that are telling you, vote race, race will protect you. I am telling you, vote country, vote nation, vote one people under one flag. That is the healing of this country and the rescue of this nation. And we, one people under one flag, is what it will take to fix it. I am asking you, do everything in your power. Cancel every other plan that you have. Throw away the Fed tickets. Unless you're going for surgery, come to the Lange Park Bandstand on January the 20th from 3 o'clock. Add yourself and your voice to the growing wave of change. This is our opportunity to fix it. Let us not miss it. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.